I'm friends with everybody in this office. We're all best friends. I love everybody here.
Welcome to Director's Choice. Today, we're going to be diving into arguably one of the most popular TV shows of the last decade, and that is The Office.
I accidentally ran over it. It's a Christmas miracle.
Spanning 9 seasons from 2005 to 2013, The Office has won countless awards and accolades, and had us in tears from laughter and truly touching moments that will surely be a classic to watch on repeat for years to come.
Look, a balloon.
If you aren't familiar with The Office, there's likely to be some spoilers in this, but you can think of it as something to look forward to.
Abraham Lincoln once said that if you're a racist, I will attack you with the North. And those are the principles that I carry with me in the workplace.
Many of you out there might consider yourselves fans of the show, but how much do you really know about it? Stay tuned, because in this video, we're going to look at 10 facts about The Office that you may have not known before. Number 10. The spin-off. The Office was based on the popular British TV show of the same name and adapted into an American sitcom.
Staying alive, staying alive.
I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. Words it loud, women more, been kicked around since I was born.
Okay, yes, that's not really number 10. Pretty much everyone who's a fan of the show would know that, but what is interesting is how far it went on its own stream. Based on the British show, yes, but did you know that the original TV show only had 12 episodes, 6 per season, and 2 Christmas specials, and that was it? To turn that around into 9 seasons and over 200 episodes, and developing a cast from unknown actors into the A-list team that they became was no easy feat. Ricky Gervais himself, the show's creator, has nothing but praise for the American spin-off. Real number 10, Pam's Ring.
And, okay, it doesn't sound cool, you just have to see it.
Actress Jenna Fisher, who played Pam in the series, was able to get away with Pam's engagement ring after the show ended. It's always been a little bit of a tradition to take things from set, not just on this TV show, but all across TV and film production.
Oh, wow, thank you.
One of the greatest love stories on TV, it seems only fitting that she gets to keep a little piece of it off-screen as well. It's unclear if she made off with more of Pam's belongings, but this is one that we know about for sure.
Got it a week after we started dating.
Number 9. Poor Richards. It's easy to assume that all the locations that are filmed aren't real places and only exist as part of a set on the studio lot.
Yes.
It's easier to control everything that way, from ambient noise to lighting to extras. So it might be a surprise to some to learn that Poor Richards is in fact a real place in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Although it's only a shock to some to know that Scranton is actually a real town, the Poor Richards bar that is often visited by the office workers is located inside of a bowling alley and is known as the South Side Lanes Bar by the locals.
These wings are all fat and bone.
This place is disgusting.
Number 8. Casting of Dwight Schrute.
False.
The Office has so many well-cast actors for basically every role. It's hard to imagine anyone else being able to play them, let alone who would have been a possibility to be taken seriously at an audition. The actors seem to have been found and then written into the show. That's how perfectly they fight. When the actor of Dwight was being cast, we know it did eventually fall into Rainn Wilson, who nailed it. But what might be news to some is that there were many other people who went for the role, such as Seth Rogen, Patton Oswalt, Judah Friedlander, and Matt Besser. Rainn Wilson himself had actually auditioned for the role of Michael.
Hey, come on, go!
How different the show could have been with just a few little changes to the cast.
Did I want to harm Michael? The one man I've been hired to protect? No.
Number 7. The gas station proposal. An iconic moment in the show, and even though it is at a gas station, is pretty romantic. What many might not know is that this was included in the show's most expensive shot, and probably not for the reason you're thinking of. There was a little of debate as to the setting of the gas station. As it turned out, filming on an actual gas station was going to cost them close to $100,000. So they went ahead and built a replica. Yes, that's right. The crew had to build a replica gas station and rest stop for the proposal scene. Although they did end up spending way more than that for the scene, at least they could make it exactly the way they wanted. Number 6. Steve Carell didn't watch the original show. This one might seem like a mortal sin. How could someone involved in the show have never seen where the show came from? According to Steve Carell, it was more intentional than it was lazy or embarrassing. Steve didn't want to watch and love the show and start to pick up and imitate the way that Ricky Gervais was acting, subconsciously. He wanted his version of the character to be his and to be unique. And when David Brent and Michael Scott met in Season 7, it's clear to see that they are similar, but totally their own characters at the same time. Well done, Steve.
No, comedy is a place where the mind goes to tickle itself. That's what she said.
That's good.
Oh, so
Pleasure to meet you.
Where are you working?
Dunder Mifflin.
Any jobs going?
No, not right now.
Just let me know.
All right, see you around.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. A nice guy.
Number 5. The second spin-off. There was very nearly another spin-off from this already spun-off show. It was set to focus around Dwight Schrute and be called The Farm. It would have followed Dwight's adventures as a beet farmer on Schrute's farm. Although the show never did materialize beyond the concept stage, it's interesting to see how it could have been. And what's also interesting is that Schrute Farms still has its own page on TripAdvisor, despite being a fictional farm. It's sometimes teased that Parks and Recreations is the actual spin-off, as it is filmed in the same mockumentary style.
Agritourism is a lot more than a bed and breakfast. It consists of tourists coming to a farm, showing them around, giving them a bed, giving them breakfast.
Number 4. The office was cold. We don't mean emotionally. The set of The Office has to be kept much colder than what would be normal, 64 degrees Fahrenheit, and this was specifically because of Steve Carell. Before you get ahead of us here, it's not because he was a diva that demanded the temperature to be just so.
I'm Prison Mike. You know why they call me Prison Mike?
Do you really expect us to believe you're somebody else?
Do you really expect me to not push you up against the wall, biatch?
It was a bit more embarrassing for Steve. Steve Carell breaks into a sweat fairly easily, and that's something that's just always been the case. To prevent this happening on set and ruining scenes with random sweat marks, the set was kept at 64 degrees Fahrenheit. Number 3. The opening credits was shot by John Krasinski. It was never intended to be part of the show in this way, but it surely fit in completely. John was so excited when he got the role of Jim that he immediately started doing research into Scranton and paper companies to try and really get a feel for the role. He even went as far as to meet with several employees at paper companies. Among his efforts, he actually went to Scranton and filmed areas of it. The footage had a certain quirky authenticity to it that the show's producers were very interested in, and it ended up being used in the opening credits. Number 2. Phyllis Smith. Phyllis wasn't an actor. She was a casting agent. She was helping with the show and running production and stepping in and out to help other cast members, but importantly, was consistently reading lines with potential actors to help stage the scenes in the auditions. Director Ken Kwapie saw an opportunity and seized it. She had been reading the lines as a temporary stand-in so well that he couldn't imagine anyone else filling the role. Although an agent at the time, she made the transition to actor pretty well, and the rest is history.
All right. Back. Here you go. Here you go. Good. What? Ooh, show me some attitude. Oh!
Hey guys, we are about to get into the number 1 fact, and it's really a bit of a spoiler, so this is your final warning. But with that in mind, let's move on to the number 1 fact. Number 1. Michael's return. This is a spoiler in 2 ways. You learn that he leaves the show and that he returns. However, Michael's return was not something that was told to anyone. I mean, they really kept that one a secret. Michael has a short cameo in the finale, a fitting time for his return, but it wasn't something that the showrunners mentioned, even to the network executives.
Michael, I can't believe you came. That's what she said.
According to Daniels, we shot the Steve stuff and we kept it out of the dailies and didn't tell anyone about it. At the table reading, we gave the Steve Carell lines to Creed, so they were able to keep as many people in the dark as possible, which really added to the emotion and intensity for the cast and crew, and it truly made his return something genuine and amazing. When Steve Carell left the show after 7 seasons, he was still adored by the cast and crew. Up until that point, he had always been number 1 on the call sheet, So when he left, they quote-unquote retired the number 1, and it didn't appear on the call sheet again. And that just about wraps up our 10 facts about The Office. I hope there are a few in there that you hadn't heard about yet. Take a look at this other recent clip by Director's Choice, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified with our latest videos.